Ano yung pwedeng mapulot dito ng news consumers in terms of consuming content? Kasi ngayon, usong-uso na yung mga journalists na day job nila, yan nasa mainstream media. Pero mas limpak-limpak yata yung kinikita nila pag nasa social media sila, di ba? Sabihin yung mga journalist tapos content creator. That's one. And the number two, basically, in terms of consuming information coming from such people on that particular platform.
So, siguro yung first thing na malalearn ng mga news consumers natin ay whatever content you consume, please take it with a grain of salt. Whether that's coming from the media or coming from an influencer or from a content creator slash journalist who has two hats, no? That is to say, ako bilang disinformation researcher ngayon at sobrang babad na babad ako sa lahat ng mga influence campaign, etc. I would say that I do not believe anything that I see online unless kilala ko ng personal yung journalist na nag-produce nito or alam ko na it went through a vetted editorial process or I've double-checked it with multiple sources. At nagkakaroon ako ng distinction between what's fact, what's opinion, what's like a video, light feature na short form, what is documentary na mas in-depth. May spectrum kasi ng qualities of information, no? So, dapat tayo bilang mga news consumers, aware din tayo, no? But, then again, in the gray areas nga, hindi dapat nagiging excuse yung, oh, dapat lighthearted content lang ito. Hindi dapat itong nagiging excuse for what is clearly a conflict of interest with public interest and with the news brand ng host or ng content creator. Kasi tama yung isang point ni Mayor Vico na kahit na sabihin mo na content lang ito or hindi na sila journalists primarily at mas content creators na sila primarily, naging brand pa rin nila ang news. And a lot of people might look up to them still as journalists or don't see them as content creators. Now, hindi kong sinasabi na hindi dapat ginagawa yung mga lifestyle features at all or itong mga human interest stories, etc. Pero pag may paid content, dapat na declared siya as paid content in the first place so that there is a transparency between you and the viewer. And in an ideal world, hindi yung host mismo yung gumagawa nun. It would be somebody else siguro. So siguro there are ways to work around that. Pero basically, first lesson for the audience, whatever you see online, take it with a grain of salt. Kasi maraming covert advertising nowadays. Not just with lifestyle features ng mga broadcasters, but also in terms of when you're just doom scrolling yung mga fan cams ni Sandro Marcos or fan cams ng mga young congressmen or politicians, ganyan. Fan cams being yung nagpapakute na showing photos of or videos of this certain politician, ganon. Or yung mga mahahabang op-ed na very pro or against one certain politician, ganon. Nagaling sa mga anonymous pages at hindi naman galing sa isang, seasoned na kolumnista. So, lahat yan, nowadays, almost everything that we see online is actually put there for a purpose that is possibly funded for by people na may mga political interests. So, kailangan natin mag-assume na when we see a piece of content, is there somebody na mayroong mga personal or political interests na do they want me to see this piece of content? And parang do they gain something kapag nagpalit yung opinion ko or nagpalit yung boto ko or yung point of view ko dahil na-absorb ko lang yung content na ito ng walang critical thinking. So parang yun yung I think we should all be mindful of that. But the second thing na gusto kong i-point out sa mga viewers natin is nagkaroon ng a lot of discussion because of the status ni Mayor Vico, especially among the media, and nagkakaroon ng maraming debate. Gusto ko parang i-point out na marami pa rin namang mga media na matitino. And honestly, if we were given a cash reward for every good deed, tsaka every no that we gave to a bribe, then hindi tayo magugutom palagay ko bilang industry. Kasi marami pa rin mga matitino eh. Um, pero, maraming mga, I guess, distrust already. There's a lot of distrust already for the media. Sana hindi magagamit ito bilang bala na lahat din ng mga journalist. Pero palagay ko naman iyan, yung mga viewers mo ay matatalino. So, hindi naman sila yung maglalahat ng mga media, lahat ng media ay corrupt, etc. Sinasabi ko lang to dahil because lumabas yung issue na to, maraming mga DDS who have been using this or hijacking the conversation para smear palalo yung media, especially the mga good media who have been covering Duterte and the other politicians and other programs from a critical point of view, ano.
Doon naman sa part ng mga media practitioners, especially doon sa mga bagong pasok sa industriya, even sa mga estudyante ng journalism, diba? Or communication, what can they learn about this whole controversy?
For people who are new to the industry, siguro isang takeaway talaga dito ay lalo na sa panahon ngayon na sobrang blurred yung line between what is sponsored content, what is online influence, and what is hardcore journalism. Mas kailangan clear yun, especially if you're starting out, na you don't make missteps. Always refer to people in a team maybe or your editor. At basahin ng maigi yung ethical guidelines ng hindi lang ng newsroom mo pero ng NUJP for example and all the other structures that we have in place that really study yung mga media ethics. Kasi yung media ethics, that is one thing that separates yung journalist from an influencer. Walang ganong sistema ang influencer eh. So, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ngayon na sobrang blurred yung line na yon, mas kailangan natin siguro bigyan din or i-reinforce yung ganong border. So, we have to make the parameters very clear to ourselves na hindi tayo mag-cross over to covert advertising. So, maraming mga instances nito, Ian, hindi lang with this. I'm not sure if you remember, like a few months ago, nagkaroon din ng malaking debate in the industry because of si quote-unquote Antonio Inares, yung writer supposedly sa Inquirer, that nobody in the industry knew who this person was, ganyan. Na puro mga pro-Villar yung content or yung articles na pinapalabas niya. It was very obviously, kung i-close read mo, PR for the Villars. At merong text scan na ginawa ang isang UP journalism student na he found that medyong reflective of AI style writing. So kaya Antonio Inares kasi AI yung mga PR na to na napapublish pero walang declaration on the Inquirer.net website na ito ay isang sponsored content. So maraming mga ganitong controversy that is happening in the industry, no? And the takeaway for a younger journalist is kailangan clear yung ganong lines sa atin. And if you're in a newsroom, you have to fight for that line to be clear. And if you don't fight for that line to be clear, edi mas lalong tataas yung distrust ng public sa media. And when that distrust rises, people will turn to vloggers, people will turn to influencers na mas lalong opaque yung kanilang ethics system, wala silang guidelines or anything. They're not beholden to any boss or to any editor or even to public interest. So, we have to take care of our reputations talaga.
Nabanggit na yung controversy regarding Inquirer.net yung Antonio Inares. Diniscuss ko sa Diniscuss ko sa klase yun. Tapos, we did a content analysis dun sa katutok na puro billiard pieces na sinulat ng Inquirer.net. And rightly so, the Inquirer.net was criticized quite severely on social media, especially among those who were familiar with how media work. Pero, parang hindi natapos eh. Nawala lang yata yung Antonio Inares pero marami pa rin nakikita mga PR pieces obviously eh. Doon sa Inquirer.net eh. Yung parang mukhang PR piece dahil eto sa mga viewers natin. Pag sa news writing kasi, sa lead writing, napaka-importante po ng verb. Okay? So mga trolls sa konting lesson regarding verbs. Baka sabihin niyo, what is a verb? A verb is an action word. Kulang po yun. Verb is an action word. A verb is a word that tells action, shows action, in a state of being. Ah, okay. So mga trolls yun. Okay. Hindi, pero may mga nakikita pa rin akong ganang pieces, di ba? Kunwari, pag sinabi ganito, kunwari, Regine Cabato bats for better healthcare. Mga ganon, di ba? Yung mga ganong angulo, mukhang ano yun eh, mukhang PR na PR yun. Tsaka in the first place, you would need to ask, bakit pa lumalabas pa yan, di ba? For reputable publication or news outlet. At hindi na nangyari sa Inquirer.net, pati sa ibang mga news outlets, nakikita ko yan. Pero going back dito, lastly, okay, ano pang pwedeng mapulot dito, for instance, ng ano, sorry, yung tipong ano, this I think should serve as a cautionary tale among media practitioners on how to conduct interviews next time. No? Pero moving forward, siguro sa 2028, another election campaign coming up. No? And sigurado may mga content creators na nalapitan ng mga political operators, I suppose, di ba? Yung mga tatakbo na ganyan. No? How should the industry deal with this? The journalism industry, the mainstream, and of course, journalists who also venture into content creation.
So we should be very aware, hyper aware, and also very careful about the ways in which yung mga platforms natin, yung mga shows natin, ang content natin, ay maaaring matwist or magamit for nefarious means nitong mga politicians na ito. Especially as we know in the Philippines, I don't think na excuse yung idea na hindi pa kasi nagsisimula yung campaign period, for example. Alam naman natin na sobrang lantaran talaga dito ng early campaigning, which is technically against the law, di ba? So, a lot of politicians or people, especially who are at the intersection of business and politics, uh, they're constantly looking for ways to embellish their reputations. Ano? And kailangan lahat yan, itatake yan with a grain of salt. Not saying automatically na magkakaroon ng investigation or magkakaroon ng accusation na they are making, they have unscrupulous business, for example, etc. Ganyan. Pero dapat, we're always constantly critical of when people or when business figures, when politicians, when public figures want to use the media to create siguro a puff piece about themselves, ganyan, make themselves look good, ganyan. Kailangan parati siyang contextualize. Siguro another example na magagamit ko, hindi naman related to elections in particular, but ordinary time type of example. Recently, yung San Miguel Corporation has been in the headlines a lot recently. And Ramon Ang even said na magbibigay siya ng mga billion, whatever the amount, to help with the flood control problem in the Philippines, etc. Palagay ko there was some degree of coverage surrounding it na medyong greenwashing. Ano yung greenwashing para sa audience natin? Ito ay basically when you present the point of view of a company or of a businessman or of a corporation or a politician na parang siyang pro-environment. Pero actually may potential conflict of interest dun sa mga businesses niya or sa track record niya. Ganon. Again, that's not to say that Mr. Ang or any other politician or business, etc. is guilty of something, no? Pero dapat, kaya siya nagiging greenwashing kasi hindi nasasama yung ganong context sa write-up at sa coverage ng mga journalist, no? So, whoever you are covering human interest, whether that's a human interest story, lifestyle story, feature, news, investigative, kailangan may context yan eh. And that is what will separate a well-researched journalism story from just yung any lang na content. So coming into the 28 elections, we should be very hyper aware of the ways in which media can be used for that purpose. Especially coming into the new elections, no, na sobrang alam naman natin, siguro this is gonna be what, our third or fourth social media elections na alam na natin we can expect magkakaroon ng dagsaan ng disinformation at magkakaroon na naman ng mga smear campaign sa mga mainstream media na matitino at sa mga journalists na matitino to try to get us to stop covering certain politicians from a critical point of view. So, we should be extra careful at tayong mga media practitioners, no, dapat may responsibility tayo to each other in the industry. Na wag naman natin sirain palalo yung reputation ng media. So may post recently, I don't know kung nakita mo to, Ian, pero may mga Instagram story recently si Nico Bawa na nag-share siya na the corruption of one of his colleagues cost him an interview with a whistleblower ng PDAF scam. At palagay ko, dapat tayo as an industry, we should be more careful also about what we owe to each other bilang mga colleagues. Kasi lahat tayo ay in the trenches together. Lahat tayo ay hinaharas. Lahat tayo ay tinotroll. And we should be more careful about what we do for our reputations, but also parang what that will cost other people sa industry natin.